Sounds great to everybody. Thumbs up, thumbs up. That sounds good. All right. Well, first and foremost, let me do this smoothly. But again, this is our MBK Talk number 2, which is the importance of girl empowerment. And we thought this conversation was very necessary and needed. And we felt like, one of the reasons why we're here with our MBK Talk series was because of one, COVID-19 and the various different things that's taking place and how all of us have been impacted, one. But two, the impact and empowerment of the youth voice. And most importantly, the voice of young women of color, such as yourself, girls and young women of color, such as yourselves. Many times young people are not given the opportunity to have their voices heard or their perspectives heard, but we're here today to ensure that, that happens today, that your message goes out today, that your purpose goes out today. So we just want to have a conversation, a very upfront, frank, candid conversation for you all to speak and put things into your own words and your own perspective. So most of y'all know me by now. I'm Antoine Tate with My Brothers Keep Alliance in South Carolina, here pushing the MBK agenda, into which our whole goal and purpose is to create opportunities for young people of color. And I get posed with the question all the time, Antoine, why is there OSK? Why every time I see MBK things, why do I always see young ladies in the picture, what have you? And I always remind folks that, I've been doing it half my life, but with starting mentoring and being a part of mentoring efforts, believe it or not, one of my first mentoring groups was a support group for young ladies. And, being a father of a daughter, my 5-year-old daughter, which is my first child, I always have had a connection with girls, with young girls. And my passion is just me kind of always being like a fatherly figure or a big brother figure. I've always just kind of been that person that's kind of trying to be my sister's keeper or being there as a protector or what have you. So I've always had the compassion to ensure that whatever efforts that I'm pushing, advocating for young people, that the voice of young ladies are also represented. So that's why you are here. We have some awesome organizations here as well with some super young ladies that's going to be here. You all can talk about that as well. But just want to have this conversation to rub off some of this Black girl magic, but also most importantly, talk about empowerment and what that means, and let's talk about it from the girls and the ladies' perspective.
Okay, hello, my name is Ariana Wilson. I'm 18. I go to High Point Academy, which is a public charter school around Spartanburg, South Carolina. I love to sing, dance, basically do everything. I have my own business, which I really need to get off the ground. So, but yeah, that's me.
Guess I go next. I'm Zai. I go to Spartan High. I'm 17. I'm real chill. I don't really do anything outside of school except for work. Yeah.
All right. I'm Marsha Jaggers, the program coordinator over our Sisters Keeper here in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay, hi, I'm Andrea Johnson. I am the executive director of Bloom Upstate. I foster and mentor girls that are without fathers. Some do have fathers, but my heart is for the fatherless child. It's good to be here, and I can't wait to hear what you girls have to say.
My name is Angel. I'm 15, and I go to Drury High School. And I guess you could say I do a little bit of stuff. I go to every Black girl when we have meetings. That's pretty much it.
Go to C.A. Johnson High School. I like to dance. I run track. I'm in every Black girl, and yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Vivian. I'm the executive director and founder of Every Black Girl, Inc. Our mission is to create a world where every Black girl thrives. And in order for that to happen, everyone around her needs to thrive. So Antoine, I'm gonna challenge you just a little bit. I believe you're here because Black women and girls assisted first. Love you.
I agree.
My name is Logan Gray, and I am a part of Bloom Inc. Upstate. I go to Spartanburg High School. I run track, and my passions are acting and singing.
I'm Lene Patterson. I'm 14. I go to Florence Chapel, and I aspire to be a director and a screenplay writer.
Okay. Well, we're kind of round robin the conversation, just kind of as we come up with various different topics. Whoever wants to join in can join in. I would ask that on each topic, though, that our adult allies definitely chime in and take part in the conversation and putting some meat on the bone. But one of our first topics to just kind of jump right into when you talk about young, naturally people of color, when we talk about young ladies of color, girls of color, what have you, there are these stigmas and stereotypes and things out there. We talk about, whether that's based on one's attitude or sense of self or worth and things of that nature. Body shaming, pressures, peer pressure, social pressure. So just want to kind of start the conversation out with, what are you all's thoughts and what are some of the things that you hear, that you face, that you deal with when you hear some of the stereotypes on Black girls and young ladies and women of color?
Well, for me, for one of the things that I've heard is that we ask for too much from people. We seem to take more than we give. We seem to always be the ratchet chick, the one who always looks like the quote unquote bum of society. We're the lowest of the low, basically. Even when it comes to, even if we have like the best of everything, it's like, oh, that was given to you. You didn't do it yourself. You can't do anything yourself. You can't make it. That's basically the types of things that people say to me. But yeah, basically.
Well, I hear a lot about attitudes because mine is, I ain't even gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, my attitude is a little bad, just a little bit. So, like, they'll say, like the smallest thing could, like, cause a huge outcome. And sometimes it's not really that serious. And I don't say I get attitudes over everything, but some stuff, like, it's like second nature to catch attitude because some things that they say are very offensive. Like if someone says something about your skin complexion being too dark, because Spartan High, you can hear that a lot. I promise you that. Like it's always something. Like if you wear your hair a certain way, change your hair to a certain color, oh, you're being ghetto, or that's some hood rat stuff. As like that's pretty much all I hear over a hair color when it's really not that deep.
On the opposite end of that, I personally I get told constantly that I act really, really white. Like, my friends, both white and Black, said I had the personality of a white frat boy, and I was just that's confusing to me considering I'm Black and I embrace it. But like, I mean, I don't know what makes them feel that way. Not saying it hurts because no one race is superior to another. It's strange to me. Like for some people I'm too white and for others I'm too Black. I can't find a happy middle for anyone. Like, those people love me for me, but some people say, oh my God, you're so white. And these people won't say it. They won't say, oh my God, you're so Black. But it's kind of how I feel sometimes. It's my end of it anyway.
So for those who haven't spoken, Antoine, you want to repeat the question so they can get more clarity around it?
I think you're muted, Antoine.
I'm sorry. When you hear about some of the stereotypes that girls of color face and challenges that you, pressures that you feel, like what are those, and how do those things make you feel? And what are some of the things that you face in your daily walk?
I think that a lot of like challenges that Black girls face are like being stereotyped in school and stuff, because like if you go to school and like say you're the Black girl, like you don't really mess with nobody, they think, oh, like you're stuck up or you trying to be bougie because you don't mess with nobody. Or if you get into an altercation, like they automatically label you as like the troublemaker. But if it was like a white girl, like in the same like circumstance, they'll like try and make excuses for her. But if you're a Black girl, it's always, oh, like she's the troublemaker, or oh, like she's the fighter and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can piggyback off of that. I think they call that more of adultification bias. If you ever heard of that before, that's a form of racial prejudice, where they think the women of color, of the girls of color, are treated as being more mature than they actually are. So that's how they start stereotyping us, saying that, looking at us, saying that we should be at higher standards because we're more mature. They're thinking of us as being more mature than the other colors. So we don't need support or protection and less innocent.
One thing that I can say about the stereotyping is like, one thing that I dislike personally is, I guess when somebody said that a white girl try to act Black, whatever, like I feel some type of way about it. Like, what does a Black girl actually act like? And then when I see a white girl that's acting like this, I'm like, that's not all of us. We don't all act like that at all. So I have like a problem with that a whole lot, because I see that a lot in school, particularly dealing with one white girl that I take class with, and it's like, she's loud, she's this, she's that, and then the conversations that I hear from other people is like, oh, she's just trying to act Black and that's it. So yeah.
One of the things I really dislike is there's been this thing, of course, many people know about it. It's called the Black card. That's what many of those people think about. They say, oh, I'm just saying, they think they can say the N-word around us and everything else, and they try to joke around. I've actually heard one person say, go back to Africa, you fat, and then said the N-word. And to another Black female that is one of my friends, I love her to death, but when she said that, she was literally on the verge of trying to do something that was not very wise. And so we had to try to talk her out of it. And things like that, the Black card, things like that, I feel like that is so stupid. Like, I don't understand why people think that this is a joke. We've learned about it in our history books. We've learned about what they've done. And some people even say that, I'm glad that they was done. We should put them in their place. Things like that, that's what really ticks me off. The Black card, the people thinking that they're superior than us. It's just, we're all human. We bleed the same blood. We're all from the same I mean, in biblical times, we're all from the same roots. I mean, we all have different mixes of everything. We all are supposed to be united. This type of stereotyping and everything else, I feel like there's got to be something done about it, because there are women who are feeling like they don't even exist. They don't matter. They don't even have a say in their own lives. And so some of them even choose to be with some dude who treats them badly because that's all they think they are. That's all they are, because that's what they've been taught. That's what they've been taught in their homes and schools. No one says anything different. So it's just like, why would I step out of line when I know everybody's going to beat me back into line and tell me who I am, when that's not who I am?
Ariana, thank you for that. I want to have y'all go a little bit deeper, right? So when you talk about the Black card, and when we talk about stereotypes, and we talk about the moments when we have Black girls and women like, hey, I don't even want to be here anymore. if I'm a truth teller, I'm one of those folks like tell the truth and shame the devil. How many times have you stereotyped other Black girls? How many times have you been the one who's stereotyped by other Black people? And what did that create for you? And especially in this moment in time, because although y'all always on social media, how much have you clicked off from a certain type of Black girl?
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have stereotyped some Black girls in my life from here and there. You know, I've heard someone being really loud in about 7:30 in the morning, turn around and saw it was a Black girl. And so that was, in my head, I was just like, typical. And then I was like, wait, no, you can't do that. That's not right. Because even though it typically is a Black girl, that's, speaking of social media, that's actually become a trope on a couple social media platforms that people of all races use to make fun of. It's called the hot Cheeto girl. That's the name of it. Just, they can't say it's the Black girl, otherwise that raises some questions. It's known as the hot Cheeto girl, who talks really loudly at really, really bad times. And every time she's portrayed as a stereotypical Black girl, you know, loud and ghetto and just overall raunchy in general. But that's not a stereotypical Black girl. There is no one way to be a Black girl. And that's what no one quite understands. I'm not gonna say that white people don't understand. I'm not gonna say that Black people don't understand. No one really understands there's no one way to be a Black girl.
So I have a question for you girls. How did that become, or the way that people described us, how did that become the model for a typical Black girl?
Me personally, I feel like it's probably because of things that like mold them as a person. Like, so say if you were born and raised without a dad, of course you're gonna feel some kind of way. So you do certain things, or you're around certain things to make you feel like you have that figure that you really don't have. So you act a certain way, you hang with a certain group of people, and they start to reflect on you, and then you project that out into everybody else. So they basically use that against you to make you seem like you're that person, when in reality you're not. You're just doing it because that's what you know, and that's what you're around on a daily basis.
I'm gonna ask the same question because I love that question, Andrea. Like, how do you think we got here? That there's actually, because we can be the educated white woman, we can be the Latino who does this, we can be all these things, right? If we're in another race. What had us get to this point where there's like, because who was it? Logan said like, oh, when I turned around, I was like, typical. Are we ready to own our own stuff? I'm actually having us to be in a deeper conversation on like really what got us to this point, and what are the conversations we're refusing to have to say this is really what got us to this point.
Well, one of the things for me is I feel like it came from, one thing is our past, the past of what we were portrayed in the beginning when we came here to America. How the things like the posters that, if you read your history books, the posters that were actually made of us, how we had big lips, big hips and everything, how we were portrayed as dumb and stupid. That's one of the reasons. And the other is because we seem to beat up ourselves. Our own race seems to beat up ourselves. We're shooting each other on the streets. We're shooting everybody in this, and we don't really help each other out. We think it's every man for himself, but it's just like if we were to band together, but it's like no one seems to want to stand up for each other. So in the streets and in the hoods and everything, it seems like everyone's shooting each other just to get where are we actually trying to gain from this? We gain a peace, but we're killing ourselves in the process. So it's basically us in the past and us now, how we interact with each other, how we accuse each other, how we seem to forget that we're all brothers and sisters, Black brothers and sisters, and we need to be able to comfort each other in these hard times.
Thank you for that, Ariana. One of the things that's like, yeah, we really get to look at how especially because all of you on this phone, South Carolina and South Carolina's history with racism, sexism, violence, like we get to be with that. It's not something that we're like, oh, woe is us, this is who we are. But it's no, here's who we are. And especially in this moment in time, here's who we are. We get to define and really move in a different space. We come from this, so we know we got family that came. Our ancestral lines are so deep, right? It's so deep. And this is a conversation for girls of color as well, because if you look culturally, all of us come from some places that are so deep and so rooted in survival, and women and girls have been the forefront. So in this moment in time, when we're talking about the stereotypes, what would it take? Because I've heard each of you speak, and some of you are still being silent, and we don't want to overtake. What would it be, and what would be your message if you were the stereotype?
Vivian, give him a example.
So Vivian Anderson is the example of a Black girl. If I'm gonna be if the stereotype has got to be me, here's what it looks like. I'm very clear. I'm every Black girl. I'm gonna take your line, Angel. I use it all the time. I'm very nice, nasty. I'm very contribution, and I want to be in my house by myself all the time. I like to dance, and I don't even know all the dances now because I don't always have the rhythm. I'm very educated. I haven't done all the schooling. I don't have a PhD, but it's not a room that you won't put me in that I won't fit in. I am every Black girl. There is no stereotype. That's what I mean. If you had to have your message and you were the stereotype versus being, oh, I gotta be loud. Oh, she got her bun or her stuff, her this ain't lit, she ain't got this. If you were the stereotype, if they changed everything tomorrow and you became the stereotype of what a Black girl is, what would be the message?
When you say what would be the message, do you mean like what we personally, like how people would see us?
Yeah, who are you?
Who am I? All right, that's a question for somebody else.
Until we can sit with us, they gonna keep describing us.
Correct. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna chime in. I'm gonna put a little man spice in it. So there's the stigma of, if you don't know who you are, then I'll tell you who you are. And for so long that has happened. So I appreciate that, Vivian, and kind of the frankness is kind of for us putting it on the spot, because you have to know who you are and being able to create your own identity, because two things will happen. If you don't create that and create your own lane, then I can guarantee you one will be paving and given to you. And more often than not, that's not going to be something that's going to be more or less for the benefit of you, but to the detriment of you. And I say that because I spend a lot of time pouring into your counterparts, your brothers, regarding sense of self and sense of worth in their sister, and knowing how to respect your sister, etc. And one of the things that I hear back is, well, Mr. Antoine, Mr. Tate, how am I going to respect somebody that don't respect themselves? So my question to you all is, if that's a perspective or a stereotype that many young males may have of you, pretty much what's your personal statement, as Vivian was just saying, what's your personal statement to say, identify who you are?
And I'm gonna add that there's probably some boys in that room that stay quiet. How they gonna see you if you hide? Because I don't think y'all out here disrespecting yourselves. But I also believe, like, some of y'all, they probably don't see because y'all like go in the cut and y'all are afraid to, like, I'm not gonna put my definition on it. So if we got a group of boys saying they don't respect themselves, and then there's another group of boys saying they hide, what would be the conversation? There's a lot of voice in this room, and I'm gonna tell you now, you won't hear from me again until at least 5 young people speak.
I
I
see
would
myself
say,
as a ooh, my bad.
no, you got it. You
I
got
can't
it.
see.
You
I
got
can't see.
it. I can't see you either, but you got it. You got it. That's Zai, right?
Yeah. Ooh.
Take it away, Zai.
Okay, so I see myself as a respectable person. I would say I'm a little mean. I'm not gonna lie to myself. I am just a little bit. But once you get to know me, I'm a really nice person. I'm very smart. Um, mm, I work a lot. I'm a workaholic. I do. I work a lot. A lot. Um, I like to do things myself. I don't like people telling me what I can and can't do, what I can and can't buy. I like making my own money. I just like doing things on my own. That's just how I am. That's just what I like. I'm a very independent person. So if there's something that I can pay for, or that if there's something I want, I'm going to pay for it myself. I don't like asking people for anything. That's like my biggest problem. I do not like asking people for anything. It pains me to even ask. I just can't do it. Hold on, wait, I can't see. Wait. Oh, I can't see what they're saying. Miss Viv, what you say? I can't see it.
It says, what do you mean by respectable?
Like, I did not mean to say that. That just came off the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I do. Like, I have a lot of respect for myself. I have a lot of respect for others. Like, even when there are some people who don't deserve your respect. Hey, I'm just being honest. It's like that. There are some people that do not deserve your respect. But on both ends, you can't not respect somebody else and expect them to respect you, because it's respect for respect. You can't just give respect if you don't earn it.
For me, I describe myself as incredibly compassionate, especially towards my friends. Like, I have 2 groups of friends. In one friend group, I'm not quite the mom friend of the group, but I like to check up on everybody now and again. In the friend group I talk to the most, I am definitely the mom friend. I love making sure everybody's okay before I even think about me. So that's why, like, I love to check up on people, but when people check up on me, it's jarring, not gonna lie. What else is there to me? I'm really very go with the flow. I'm a very go with the flow kind of person. I'll argue with anybody, but only respectfully. Like, it'll never be a knockdown, drag out argument. Describe myself. I'm not violent. I'm not violent at all. I'm a big teddy bear, because I'm 6 feet and 250 pounds, and people just think I'm mean. I'm not. I am a teddy bear. I love people so much. And Zai, stop laughing at me. I can see you. But I'm 100% a people person. That's probably my biggest trait. Outside of being a devout Christian, I am a people person. I'm not gonna say I do things to make sure people like me, but there's a quote from John Mulaney that says, I have to have everyone all day like me so much all the time. That's how I feel about myself. I'm one of those people who creates a bunch of different personalities just to what's the word?
Fit in.
Yes, thank you.
I understand, girl.
Just thank you. Just to fit in with all these different groups, because I love hearing people's from all walks of life perspectives. I love being friends with everyone who will let me, but they don't all. I'm not sure what me they're gonna like. I'm not sure if they're gonna like the raw, uncut version, or the clean and polished version, or the wild, fun party, or the mom friend. So I just try a little bit of each out, see which one they like best, and stick with that with them. That's me. I when I say I'm a people person, it's not because people like me. It's because they like a fabricated version of me. There's maybe like 2 people that like me. That's because like 2 people know it. What if I didn't have to fit in? What if I just had to be me? Wouldn't that be great? Oh God, that would be amazing. But, you know, I'm not willing to find out what people think about the real me until I get to college, where no one knows the fabricated versions of me. They just have me. But here, I've spent too long building up too many different personas. I can't knock it down now. That is all.
With me, I could say that I take on a lot of leadership roles. I guess that's what you would say. A lot of leadership roles. I put people a lot before me, a whole lot. Like when it comes down to different situations, it's like if it's dealing with my friends, I put them before me first. If it comes down with things that I'm doing in a group or whatever, or if, say for instance, we doing something with every black girl, whatever, it's like, okay, are y'all straight first? Then it's like, now I could go ahead and work on myself. Like, I'm like that a lot. I put people before me. Fitting in, at one point I was like that, until I learned that it's no need for me really to fit in, because it just isn't me at all. It's like I'm this make-believe person, trying to hang around people, especially the fact that I had to switch schools and whatnot to come back to Columbia or whatever, and it was like I had to fit in. And for me, it's a lot easier for me to adjust. Like, dealing with something with adjusting is easier for me to adjust. So yeah.
How I would describe myself if I was like to be the stereotype for black girls, I would say, like, the piggyback off what Marquita said, that I would take on other people's problems. Then after I feel like I helped you with your problems, then I'll be like, yeah, let me go work on mine, work on what I gotta do. And I will also say that, like what Marquita said, I used to try and like feel like I had to fit in, like just like to have friends or whatever. But like once I got to high school, can you focus on your thing and not worry about me? And like once I got to high school, like I started realizing, like, even if you're trying to fit in, like everybody's not gonna want to be your friend. And me being who I am, like if you ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you how it is. Like, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. And like how they say, like being real, like it gets you hated and it get like people not want to talk to you. Cause like if you notice, like fake people got a lot of friends, but like the real solid individuals, like they don't really hang with nobody.
I actually kind of disagree with that, because I personally have a lot of friends, but if I haven't said what I want to say about you to your face, I won't say it to anyone else first. I mean, this is a lot, but I have about like 15 people I trust with my life. And honestly, yeah, that's a lot. No, it is a lot, but I'm not fake, not in the slightest. I know I just said I created a whole bunch of personalities, but I'm not a liar. All the personalities I have are real traits I have, just hidden a couple. And one thing I won't do is lie to you. Like, if that dress don't look right, I'm gonna tell you. Those glasses ain't right for you. You just gonna have to go blind, baby. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I won't sit here and let you look stupid ever. And I won't gossip about you. Gossip literally makes me sick to my stomach. Like, I don't care how bad or fake that sounds. I truly hate it so much.
I want to ask, why did that come up for you? Because she said fate, when we talk about all these folks and the fitting in, but something's coming up for you. And so, that's who I am. So what's coming up for you? Because there was nothing for me when she was describing it would describe you. Why did you hold that as something that she was saying to you?
I didn't think she was saying it to me. I just disagreed with that statement. That's all. Because it was the lot of friends thing, not the fake thing. Because like I just said, I have a lot of friends. That doesn't make me fake. I didn't think she was talking to me at all. That's just how I felt about the situation.
Okay.
And like what I meant when I said that, I didn't mean like if you have a lot of friends, you're fake. Like what I meant was like people that tend to not speak their truth and like let other people run over them, they tend to like be in a lot of crowds because a solid individual isn't going to attract a lot of people because they feel like you too honest, or like they feel like, oh, you trying to be this or you trying to be that, but really like, or they feel like you're stuck up because like you tell it how it is, or like say you go to school, somebody asks you something, they feel like you trying to be funny if like you tell them the truth. Like I wasn't trying to say just because you have a lot of friends that you're fake, because I like to say I have a lot of friends, but I make sure that the people around me, like they gonna tell it how it is, because I don't want to be around nobody. Like if I'm doing wrong, tell me I'm doing wrong. Like don't let me go down the wrong path. Like help me straight, help straighten me out. But like yeah, I wasn't trying to say like, oh, because you have a lot of friends you're fake. Like I was just basically saying that a real solid individual, you won't see them like with a lot of crowds. Not saying that just because you have a lot of friends that you're fake. That's what I was trying to say.
I agree with that because I'm not gonna say that I have a lot of friends because really I don't. I don't like being around people. I just don't. I don't. I mean, I'm cool with a lot of people. I'm a chill person. I can be cool with anybody. Me and you can have a deep conversation and I'll be perfectly fine with it. And you'll never know that I don't talk to that many people because really I don't. I sit in the house every day, talk to the same person every day, and go to work. I don't really like going out. I don't like going out places. I don't like being in large crowds of people. That's because I don't feel like everybody's projecting their true self. Not saying that I don't like being around people or that I don't like getting to know people. Because once you get to know somebody, like you really have to know that person to understand their true self. And that's just me because I don't like being around people who lie to me or tell me things that I don't even see. Like if I'm doing something that I know I ain't got no business doing and you helping me do that, you're not a real friend. Because why would you let me do something that could potentially hurt me or harm me and get me in trouble in any kind of way? That's just how I see it. Going back on what Angel said, because that makes sense. Because you just don't want to be around that kind of crowd of people when you're doing wrong and they basically helping you do wrong when that's not what you usually do.
For me, I understand that completely. For me, who I am, I basically everything y'all just said, that is a part of me. That's I always want to be a part of everyone's crowd. I never really get to really talk or anything actually. I mean, I understand I'm talking now, but usually in big crowds and stuff like that, I never really I'm usually the one in the corner. I'm usually the one trying to read a book or something or watching some anime crap and just like I'm the weird to me I've always felt like I never fit in anywhere, and I just felt like maybe if I change this, maybe if I change that. I've went through many stages of many different types of outfits. God, I even tried a gothic crap, and man, that's buried down in the hatchet. I'm not bringing that back up, but but the thing is, it's just sometimes I'm the type of person who charges forward sometimes blindly. I'm that type of person. I'm always the person trying to look and be friends with everyone, even if they are bad for me, and I don't really notice it. For me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually one of the people who are on the autism spectrum. So for me, when I like listen to conversations, when I see things that I get obsessed over things, and sometimes I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. So I try to act out in the way that I see other people act out, maybe in movies and things like that. And that in turn gets me into trouble. I try to do things that I see other people do and it works for them. So I think if it works for them, why not work for me? And it doesn't work for me in the end. And I'm trying to figure out the puzzle piece. I'm more of an equation type person. I think of everyone as kind of like an equation. Like if I add this person, what will the outcome be? I try to work with emotions, and sometimes I don't understand. I don't understand people's expressions, how people act around me, and most times it seems like I'm not going anywhere. So I just, for me, I'm just trying to make it through. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It's sometimes it's hard, but I'm just trying to make friends along the way. So
I want to leap, like, thank you so much for that. One of the things I want you to look up, all of you, the word intersectionality with Kimberly Crenshaw. And she did a lot of work around Black, and then like, so Black, and then gender, you know, was like, I'm Black, but I'm a woman. And all the intersections that you live in. So Ariana, what I thought about you was like, I'm Black and I'm a girl, and like, so we can have a conversation, but there's another intersection of me because I'm actually on the spectrum that most of my friends aren't on. So that leaves me in a difference. So now for right now, and if I'm, you know, correct me, because this is your life. Like, so I have what they've labeled a disability. So I'm Black, I'm a girl, and I have a disability, quote unquote, right? So the spectrum becomes larger for you. And what does that mean in this moment in time, and like how the world moves? So when we start talking about what does it mean to speak our truth and really be with who we are unapologetically, Logan, I love, like I'm a track star. I have friends. And what was interesting when you were speaking, Logan, is that you actually zoned it back in and was like, no, I actually am in a lot of groups. I know a lot of people, but I got 15 core people. But I'm very clear. I asked the question earlier, how many friends equate? And I know because of the social media world, a lot of times you're like, I got 1,000 friends. And Logan was like, no, I got 15. Real talk, y'all. I got 15. I might know 15,000 people through different things. I want y'all to really want y'all to go in and like all this stuff when we say, what does it mean to be a Black girl in this space and time, a girl of color? What are the stereotypes? What are the things that you're feeling pressure? How is this moment in time impacting you as a girl of color right now? And there's been some real impact. So let's talk more about that too.
well, for me, I'm figuring out things about myself that I didn't even know existed. I'm actually starting to become more aware and self-aware of things like, yes, my disability, and figuring out who really is a friend and who really isn't. Because nowadays I try, the people that I used to text, they aren't texting me anymore. The people that I used to hang out with at school, they are nowhere to be seen, or they are nowhere to be found on my phone. And it's just like, I feel like God is opening a whole lot of doors and opening my eyes to so many new things. I'm coming back into my word. I'm happier. I'm finding new things, and I'm happier that way. I feel like this has been a real good experience to not only just slow down, but to just be able to be with the people that you love, the people that are there for you daily, even though you don't see them every day, the people who come out back to your house and your family. I feel like it's been a better time for me to reflect on what I have, be grateful for what I have and who I am, and being able to live every day, live like this. Yes, there is this COVID-19 and everything, but for me to say that I'm still alive, I still have the people in my family to support me every day. Yeah, maybe they may not know that they're infected or anything, but they're still here. They're still here to support me, and I'm still here to support them. So
Ari, thank you for that. The purpose of the MBK, notice, is the Youth Talk series. I want to focus on the Youth Talk piece, one, but most importantly, I wanted to make sure that you all understand that this is a platform for you to talk your talk, to spit your piece, to say your point, to state your facts, and do that in a candid way, do that in an intentional, direct way. I don't want you to talk politically correct, or I don't want you to talk and say the things that you think that someone wants you to hear. And knowing me, you already know. You should. If you don't know me well, one thing you will know about me is I want you to say it in a way that it makes sense for you. Say it, but also say it in a way that it can come across and communicate to those of your peers that you would want it to come off to. But this is one of the things I've came to find out. Sometimes I found that young people sometimes are a bit apprehensive of putting certain things out, because once you say it, you're accountable for it. You're not sure which one of your friends or who in your peer circles may hear what you're saying. So I want to make sure that you all understand that, you know, this is an opportunity to really be open and be direct and, you know, and be to the point. Because again, as I started off this conversation with, if you don't create your own personal narrative, someone else will, you know. And I know we've had a lot of time. You had a lot of time. Some of you all have had a lot of time being quarantined, you know, practicing social distancing and things of that nature. School has been canceled or what have you. So, you know, some of you, I'm pretty sure your parents or your household situation with your guardian or whomever has changed, you know. So my question is, when you are laying in your bed at night, or when you're home alone, or when you have those moments of isolation to yourself, what's going on in your brain, what's going on in your life, and essentially, who are you? And when you turn on your TV, or when you when you listen to music, when you're looking at a video, and when you're seeing the images, is that you? Are you ratchet? Are you ghetto? Are you loud? Are you, you know, just a lot of the things that are out there. You know, and I keep hearing the relationship word. I keep hearing friend, friend, friend. You know, and as a father and as a man, this is a question that I have. I want you all to think about as well. When you think about who you are and how you got to be to the place that you are, you know, our adverse childhood effects, our ACEs get us to a point where we are today. So when you're talking about trauma, when you're talking about life experiences, it shapes who we are. You know, it shapes, you know, our abilities. It shapes who we are. So Vivian mentioned intersections earlier and where we are in life and what things are taking place. So my question is, when you're thinking about relationships, I have a question as far as father figure, positive male figures, and how you see that persuasion in your life. How does that shape who you are, what you are? But most importantly, your purpose. I'm still looking and feeling and trying to grab who are these young ladies that's in front of me, and what are some of the things that young people in your peer groups are dealing with in a straightforward, roundabout way. You know, just, you know, no cap, no, you know, no smoke. Just, you know, give it to me straight up. Give it to the people straight up. That's what we're here for. Give it to the people straight up. You know. So the floor is open.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go off of that. As far as father figures go for me, Antoine would probably be Antoine and my grandfather are probably my main two father figures that I have since my dad passed away last year. So if I have something that I need to ask, I'll go to Antoine or I'll go to my grandpa. And it's hilarious because I get two different answers and I'll try to combine the two and figure out what's going on, because it's terrible. Because I get one answer from Antoine, I get one from my grandpa, and they'll be completely different. And I was like, you know what? Finna throw some stuff together, figure it out. But as far as me being who I am, I feel like the both of them have definitely molded me in a very well, definitely in a good way. Because I mean, no one is really a model citizen as far as me. Because like, and in that way, I mean, like, no one has something that they don't want to tell people. Like, there is something that, like, your deepest, darkest secrets could literally ruin anything. And that might just be me, because, like, there's some stuff that you just don't want people to know, some stuff you just don't tell people, some stuff you just keep hidden to yourself. And that's just how some people are. So me being with Antoine a lot, you know, like, I've learned to be, first of all, I did not like talking to people. And it's Antoine's fault that I actually like to talk to people, because I just don't like telling, I just don't like telling stuff. That was not me. I was a shy person. I didn't like talking about things. And then being with Antoine, I ain't have a choice, because he made me all the time. It wasn't optional, but it was a good thing because, you know, I got out of my own shell. He does me and my sister the same way. I got introduced to a lot. Boy, my grandpa would tell you in a heartbeat how proud he is of Antoine and what he's done to me. Cause I just was not like, I probably wouldn't have been the person that I am today if it weren't for Antoine and my grandpa helping me and, you know, putting me in different backgrounds, putting me in different situations, helping me like branch away from what I was before. And yeah, that's just me.
I would say who my father figures are, I guess, in my life. I would say my brothers. That probably sound off, but I would say all of my brothers that I have. Cause my situations with my dad, don't want to talk about it. But yeah, I look up to my brothers a whole lot since my dad necessarily isn't in my life anymore. A person who I can say that I really look up to, like adult wise, that really changed something in my life, I would say Miss Vivian, because like it's like I never was open about a lot of things until like I met Miss Vivian, and it's like, oh well, you gotta share your story basically, because nobody can tell your story better than you can tell your story. So I mean, I'm still working on me. I still have some things that I need to work on, but for the most part, I can open up about things, but it just depends who I'm talking to.
Thank you. That's why your brothers? What are the characteristics about them? Like those male figures in your life. Talk about those brothers. Like what are the characteristics about them? Who are they?
Well, my second to oldest brother, he looks a lot like my dad. Yeah, he looks a lot like my dad, but they're carrying a whole lot, something that my dad wasn't necessarily there to do. Protection wise, they give me good advice, and it's like four of them, they already graduated, so it's like you need to make sure that you know what you're going to do after you leave high school, because for one, you're a female, two, you're like the oldest daughter or whatever, so you need to make up your mind of what you're going to do. Then it's like some of the things that I was talking to them about, it's like they've been through already, so it's like I'm going to tell you from my perspective of what it is. Or if it's like, if I say maybe I wanted to try something or do something, it's like, no, I feel like you shouldn't do that, because from a male perspective, this is what we're going to think. This is how males think and whatnot. So it's like, okay, now I understand what a boy would think if I guess I would do such and such or whatever.
Yeah, like just to go off what Marquita said, like, cause my dad passed too when I was young. He had passed, and so that's like the only like male figure I really had like to look up to growing up. So like my brothers, like they like I look up to them, like they're a protector. It's like they tell, like Marquita said, they give me good advice. Like they'll tell me like how it is. Like I'll tell a boy quick, if you can't treat me how my brothers treat me, you gotta go. And like they like okay, they showed me like, yeah, this is how a man's supposed to treat a woman. Cause like if it's like if you're growing up in a household and like a man is treating a woman bad, you're gonna start thinking that's how a man is supposed to treat a woman. My brothers, like, they really show me like how I'm supposed to be treated and stuff like that. And they give me like real good advice, so, like about like growing up and stuff.
I was blessed enough to have my dad in my life for most of it, and I look up to him for so many different reasons. But my favorite reason, I mean, well, he's he overcame adversity a million times, a million different ways. Um, he got a degree from Morehouse and a law degree from USC, and I can't be proud of him for that. But the reason I look up to him is because he never gave up. Like he's had a bunch of health problems, and he never gave up through any of them. Like, I'm not gonna say he cheated death a couple times, but he cheated death a couple times, and it's just been so inspiring to look at. It's like, when I'm at track practice and I can't go any longer, I think about my dad, and I'm like, your dad's had his leg cut off. Buck up, you know. It's just inspiring to be around someone, and through all this, he's still a genuinely happy, funny man who brings joy to other people. And that's just really impressive to me.
For me, my dad, my biological dad, I don't really like to talk about him. One of the things is, if it was up to him, I would be dead right now. So that's one of the things that I think about. But my biological dad, my stepdad, Big Al, he's basically a stereotype on a person stereotype. He's big, he's huge, and he sometimes has this mean mug face, but underneath all that, he's just a big old teddy bear. He's very straightforward, very blunt. God, oh my gosh, if there was every time he was so blunt to a person, telling a person he sounds gay just because we don't like to talk about that. But for him, I know I've caused the man a lot of trouble. I know I've done some things that made him want to give up on me, but because of him, I'm the young lady that I am. He's taught me the way he treats my mother with such love, like a gentleman should. The way he's treated my mom that's the reason why I know that I deserve better. I deserve better. If someone comes around and treats me like dirt, and every time a guy says, "Oh my gosh, you're pretty," thanks, my daddy. He always tells me that. That's something that I always say is him being there for me throughout everything that I've gone through, him being at my games, him being at the different recitals that I go to, him showing up. That's what keeps me going. That's what makes me feel like I'm more than what other people say, that I deserve so much more, that I am a better woman. The way he sometimes jokes around and everything. And I'm so blessed that even though my biological could not give me what I needed, he stepped in, even though he knew that my mother had 2 kids, me and my brother, before he came along. He took that responsibility because he not only respected that, he also loved my mother enough to say, "I'm going to take in your kids and I'm going to treat them as my own." It was when I was 5, I immediately took to him and I wanted him to read me a story. I jumped into his lap and I barely knew him. I said, "Read me a story, Daddy. Read me a story." I said, "Read me this." And so every day I may have taken him for granted. I know I do. God knows I do. But every day I pray and every day I thank the Lord that he's in my life, because without him, I would not be here.
That's awesome, guys. And I want to point out one thing: trust. That's the foundation to what each of you have described, trust. And that's a lot of times a man put that in you. Most of the time it's your father, or like you said, your stepfather. But it's such a needed part of development. So I was really glad to hear you guys say that, whether it was, okay, my father passed or he's not in my life, you have someone to fill in the gap. And that makes all the difference.
As a male figure, I asked that question intentionally because I know each of you have strong, very strong, dependable, consistent, reliable mentors and a presence in your life through the organizations and the ladies that are here represented, such as Andrea, Vivian, and Marsha. And I like to ask that question as far as what male presence is around from my years of experience in the field in youth development, as well as in the education sector, as well as in the community engagement field, of some of the things that happens in our communities and in our families. Y'all got my eye. Y'all have my eyes over here like sweating, but nothing rolled. But they did get a little misty just listening. But as I listened to everyone share about a positive male figure in their life, I was watching the faces of everyone, and I was seeing different things in different screens. And one of the things I want to close out on, and I want you all to speak to, everyone can speak to this question. But one of the things I wanted to focus on is the need of, the hat I have on says belonging. And belonging, if you look it up, I challenge you to look it up and see what that means. And I want you to ask yourself, what's your influence in your circle of influence when it comes to belonging? And who are you helping and engaging in that? I think relationships is important when we think about the adults that play roles in your lives. And most importantly, the person that you call a mentor or a person of influence plays a huge critical role in your life. I know I can speak for all the ladies that are here. I've seen their work firsthand. I know the sacrifices that they make. I know the time that they put in to make sure that they provide opportunities and ensuring that they are exposing you all to ways of being successful, but also ways to develop your character and develop yourself as a growing young person into an adult that's going to be in this world. But when you think about some of the things that happen, when I think about in the schools, in the community, when I think about what many folks say when they see something that bothers me is when I see so many videos, I see fight videos or arguing or, so much, violence that we see. And a lot of times that's attributed back to, well, that's just what, that's what Black girls are. That's what young Black girls portray or what have you. That's just the ratchetness in it. My question to you all is, when you think about sisterhood, because you all are from all over the state, upstate, Midlands, and different places. When you think about sisterhood, although we all come from different homes, we come from different backgrounds, we all have different experiences. At the end of the day, we all are human. So when you think about sisterhood, my question to you all is, and this could go into our next part 2 or whatever we do next, ladies, we'll brainstorm on that. But when you think about sisterhood and the importance of that, like, what does that mean to you all? And I have a question to that is, what are you willing to do to push that agenda of sisterhood?
I'm willing to emulate what I think the idea of sisterhood is to push the agenda. I see too many Black girls, they'll post old pictures of them and their friends, but one friend in the picture has like a trash can or a snake emoji or an X emoji over their face because, quote unquote, that girl did them dirty or is a snake. I want to see less of that. I want to see less of hashing up old drama, reminding people about a thing someone did they most likely regret. I just want to see more sticking together, all the building each other up, girls need to support girls. I support that. But at this point, it seems cliche. It would be nice for girls to just support girls and we all band together. It would be nice for Black women to support Black women instead of tearing each other down and apart. Because, let's say you're a Black girl, you get married. Say you're a Black woman, you get married to a Black man. You go to your in-laws' house, his parents' house, and you see the women in the kitchen, but you're a guest at their house. If you don't immediately go start helping in the kitchen, you're seen as lazy. Now, when a Black man goes to your parents' house, if he does start cooking in the kitchen, he's seen as, some would say he's crazy. Others would say you can never let him go. He's a gem. He's perfect. But it's the Black women that have a problem the woman not helping. It's never the black men. You'll never see the black men sitting. You'll never see your drunk uncle sitting and going, oh, I can't believe she didn't help. You'll never see that. It's always the judgy black women. And that's a trope I want to get rid of, judgy black women in general. I want to talk, but still, I'd like to see less of judgy black women and more of black women banding together and supporting each other. You know, not just when we win awards, but in the little things, like helping in the kitchen, stuff like that. Well, me, I'm big on sisterhood, especially being with our sister's keeper and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, our little we need a team bonding or something, because I don't know what's going on, but we need a bonding or something. That's what we need to think about. I can see both of y'all, you and Miss Marshall. Yep, I can see both of y'all. We need a team bonding day or something, but we need it. So, so I'm kind of big on sisterhood because, you know, I like being my sister's keeper, because, you know, it's like if someone else can't help you, like if you can't go to somebody else because you can come to your sister and get something, you know, get advice, get something, just go out, do something. Like, you know, it's like sisterhood is something that you don't just jump at. It's something that you build, and it's something that nobody can break through or that nobody can destroy. And that's what I like about it, because I call a lot of my friends, like most of my friends I don't even consider them as friends. They're like my family. Like I bring them around my family. I go around their family because that's how close I am to them. And I respect that, and I respect them and their families, and they respect me and my family. And that's just how that goes. So I don't think it's something that anybody can just come in between and break. And if that is the case, you need a team bonding exercise because something ain't right. So that's one thing that I am really big on, you know, being in that with everybody and like doing things that like you don't normally do. It's like getting out of your comfort zone, getting to know somebody all over. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a pretty good experience because you never really know somebody until you really get to know them. So like hearing about like being in a group, kind of like we did at camp, or like when we go to camp or whatever, and we have the group of girls and everybody talks about what they go through. And it's very diverse. It's not just black girls, it's everybody. It's like we have different, you know what I mean. Anyway, so it's like you're hearing problems from different girls that you consider a sister. That's basically what we are at camp. All of us are family. We don't have a choice but to be family because we have to do group exercises. So it's not optional. Anyway, you get to learn about different, like, you get to see people in a different light, basically. Like, if you know them outside of camp, you probably know, like, bits and pieces. When you come to camp, it's not optional. You have to literally unleash every truth that you have in different forms and different shapes of ways. Like, last year, we had poetry, the trying to build something that was bad. Oh, it's just fun getting to know new people, and especially as sisters, because that's just an unbreakable bond that you really want forever. It's kind of like a sorority, a little bit, without all the other stuff. But it's fun, and it's something that you'll really miss. It's something that could go a long way if that's what you want.
As sisters, I find that a lot of time we are harder on each other. Do you find that true?
Yes, for women, we are emotionally. That's basically us. We are more of the emotional. Between the male and the female, the women are more emotional. So the thing is, we seem to. It's not. Sometimes it's not out of just disrespect. Sometimes it's out of respect. Like, you want your sister to be just as successful or even more successful than you, because that's just how you feel. That's how you guys. That's how your bond is. It's not only just an emotional. It's most times it is a spiritual bond between each other, because that's your family. That's your crew. That's your ride or die people. That's what a sisterhood is. It's your ride or die chicks that, you know, if you called them up at 2:00 in the morning. Hello, I got something. Where you at, girl, sis? What's happening? Let me get my purse and everything. So let me get this. Where you at? We gonna go in this together. In the fight, we're gonna go together. So that's basically how it is. That's the best type. I feel like even though yes, there's pressure, maybe you have too much pressure on each other. Maybe just explain, hey, maybe let off a little bit on the fire and everything, and let's just work this out together. Maybe if you do that instead of cutting, some people who they feel a little pressured by their sister, they cut them off completely because they don't know how to say, hey, maybe you're being a little too hard on me. I understand you want me to succeed, but let me do it in my time, in my own way. Maybe that's not what God has for me. I know you want me to succeed, but maybe it's not my time yet. Maybe it's just your time. Maybe it's your season, because we all have different seasons. So that's what I feel. Instead of, sometimes we get so emotionally attached. Sometimes we do things when we're angry, and that's one of the things that I've learned. Don't say anything when you're angry. Don't make promises when you're happy, because some of them you can't keep. Some of the things you can't take back. Once it's out there, you can't take it back. And that could ruin your entire relationship. So in that, I just feel like, yes, we are sometimes push each other, but that's one of the things that makes a sisterhood worth it.
Okay. Sisterhood to me is like one of those things where it's the family that you kind of like choose, and and the sisterhood is as strong as you make it. And I believe sometimes we tear each other down because we're trying to get to the top, and we see some people, when we see them succeeding, sometimes we feel like maybe that should be me, or maybe she has my spot. And I feel like we tear each other down because sometimes we don't know how else to do it, because like said before, sometimes there wasn't father figures, or there weren't people there for us as we grew up. So I feel like sometimes we do tear each other down because we're trying to get to the top. We're trying to be successful and make it somewhere. But I feel if you have the right mentality going into choosing your sisterhood, it's all about like the chosen family. That's what sisterhood is to me. So as long as you go into the sisterhood with a right mind state, and you believe in yourself, and you choose people who believe in you, and I believe that that sisterhood will go beyond.
So, girls, in a sisterhood, can you be your authentic self? I've heard a lot of you say that you have to kind of fit in with different groups. So, in a sisterhood, which should be really close, and I don't think it should be a whole lot of people that's within that sisterhood. So, how do you show up as your authentic self? Or do you? Because as a sister, that's what we want. We want a soft place to fall. We want people that's non-judgmental against us, right?
I understand that. And me personally, I mean, I feel like I'm my authentic self when I'm around my friends who I call my sisters, because like if there's a problem or I feel like there's something I need to get off my chest and I can't go to anybody else but them, I'll call them. All of us will meet at a spot, and it's not that many. It's probably like 4 or 5, maybe, and that might be pushing it. But it's like 4 or 5, and all of us will meet up, and then I'll talk or whatever, and I'll tell them what I need to tell them or what I got to get off my chest. And I don't feel like they judge me at all. Like this is like a non-judgmental group that I have, because yeah, you judge people a lot. A lot of people judge people, but I don't like being. I don't consider myself a judgmental person because I don't want nobody to judge me. But at the same time, I understand that it's like second nature in a way. So there are people that still judge people, but when my friends come to me, like they come to me knowing that I'm not gonna judge them based on their situation, because I have no right to judge. Go, because I don't know what they go through on a day-to-day basis. I do, But that's beside the point. Like, if they trust me enough to come to me with their problems and things that they need advice on, who am I to judge them when they trust me with their information? Because I'm considered their sister. And in my sister group, I am the mom of the group, because they have, like, I have to know that there's nothing wrong, that they're okay today, tomorrow, next week. Like, if there is something wrong, then we got to talk about it right now, like right then and there, so we can get this worked out. So there's nothing that can break it up or get in the way of our relationship as us being sisters. And I don't agree, because this happens a lot, because like in sisterhood, it's like there's like an altercation between a sister and another sister, and that happens a lot. It's just how you work through them as a group, or even if it's just y'all two individually, because like that happens a lot. There are a lot of times where people, like the sisters in the group, get into it, or they disagree, and it leads to something that it probably should never have led to begin with. But I mean, it happens because we as females are very emotional, so we take some stuff to heart a lot. So I understand that, and it's very common in sisterhood. So that's probably what ends up breaking sisterhoods up in the first place. Like a simple altercation that could have easily been fixed with a short conversation or a long conversation, or something that could have fixed it instead of it being completely broken up into. And that's where I feel like you have to be your authentic self in your sisterhood, because if you're not, then that can lead to altercations and your sisterhood being broken up over something that wasn't even serious enough to end the whole friendship or sisterhood for no reason, over an altercation that you could have fixed in not even 20 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna go, just to make sure everyone get closing points. We're gonna go to Marquita and Angel, and then Marsha, if you want to say something, and Vivian, you go ahead and close us out, if that works.
My point of view on sisterhood or whatever, I don't necessarily, I guess, could say anything, because personally myself, I do not think that I can get along with a lot of females. It's like I cannot get along with a lot of females. Like, it's just that simple. With me having friends or whatever, I do have female friends, but it's like I had to choose them basically off of, I had to get to really know you first. And just because I get to know you don't mean that I'm cool with you or your friend, but those who I am close with, is like, yeah, that's like, they're not my friend, but they're more like a sister. I do have a sister myself that I'm like extremely close to, because that's like literally my best friend, honestly. So I guess that's my point of sisterhood.
Yeah, like just like to go off what my kids were saying, like, can you please stop looking at me? Like, you making me feel so uncomfortable. But yeah, just to go off what she's saying, like, yeah, I also agree with Marquita, because I can't get along with females either. Because like I said, I'm a real solid individual. And if I see you messing up, I'm going to tell you. And like a lot of females these days, they feel like if you try to tell them about themselves, that they're going to look at you like, oh, who she thinks she is. She thinks she better than somebody. But yeah. But then, like, it's also like a lose-lose situation, because you hang around a lot of dudes, other females think that, you know, you got to be doing something with them and hang around them. But yeah, that's what I said about that.
Okay, like they were saying, with having that sisterhood, you have to develop that bond, that trust, have that relationship to have a sisterhood. And that means coming together. And most of the time you try to find that one common thing that y'all do have in common. I mean, y'all can be totally different, but a lot of times when you building that bond or having that sisterhood, you find that one common thing that's going to keep y'all together.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying. Oh, go ahead. No, I was trying
Go
to
ahead.
find my mic.
I really enjoyed having this talk with the girls today.
Trying to do all the technology. Yeah, my eyes were started bothering me, so I got to go back and forth, y'all. So, I think what I want to, like, for me, this has been so amazing. I love it. And I love that, like, especially my EBG girls, who is every Black girl, right? Say, I don't know if I like females, right? But they're always organizing to support Black women and girls across the world. And I think that was so prevalent in this moment in time, because sisterhood for me is different from friendship, right? I think I have a sisterhood where I want every girl and woman who is a female, like, who identifies. And I also want to say, if we're not talking about LGBT, our trans and our gender non-conforming community in this conversation, we're not talking sisterhood, right? So what does it mean to hold sisterhood on a world scale, a national scale, a local scale, and then the intimate scale? And so those are some of the things I just want to leave the girls with, because, like, yeah, it doesn't mean like you got to go out and be friends with every girl in the world, but it does mean, am I respecting every girl? And a man ain't got to give it to me, but can I respect every woman and girl out for who they are? And like removing the comparison, because there's actually, I want to have this conversation again, Antoine, so much around sisterhood and where the layers of patriarchy and white supremacists and racism actually plays into this is who we are and who are we defining as sisters, and like having that conversation. So that's another conversation, but I'm glad we had this conversation. Thank you all for choosing to be with us at 4 o'clock. Forever grateful, and that's it.
Right, and Vivian, I would say to Vivian, Andrea, and Marsh, I would say this was just pretty much to scrape the surface. And my thoughts on it is definitely our organizations coming together, doing something in a way that we can bring all of our young ladies together to be able to do something on a statewide level, to have that unity, that cohesion, and also that familiarness with one another. And as we said, to build that sisterhood framework. But Vivian, what you're talking about, I think that's part two. I think we dive into the matter in a more intimate way. So I'm all for that, and I say let's make that happen. And maybe the four of us can, maybe a few others who want to pull in can start having some conversations about, let's build out some things as far as what we can do to push the agenda forward. You all know me; I'm gonna stand in the back, and I'm just gonna push. I'm gonna push forward, and as we do what we need to do on behalf of these young ladies and promoting sisterhood and all that we do in all of our respective organizations. You want to say something, Vivian?
Yes. So when we talk about sisterhood on a world scale, right? So right now, one of the groups I work with, but write this down. Everybody on this call, write this down, except for Antoine, because he can't apply. Southern Black Girls and Women Consortium. And Antoine, you write it down and you'll get it out to everybody.
I already got it out, Vivian. I got it out last week. I'm on you.
Okay, so y'all know about the Black Girl Joy Challenge. Yeah. And for Andrea and Marcia, like, listen, Marcia, like, you can go and apply for your orgs. So the girls got a separate pool and they got a different pool for y'all to support the girls and any work y'all need to do. Because right now, girls, y'all can get $250 for an idea to blame Black Girls Joy, right? How do we spread joy in this time? Okay, everybody, because we got the money. Let's get this money in South Carolina, people. Let's get it in South Carolina.
Okay.
What was it called again?
Southern Black Girls and Women's Consortium. They're paying you for your ideas. They're going to pay you, and whatever you need to have it turn out, they're going to pay you.
Thank you.
Yes, go out. That's $250 waiting for y'all.
This was great.
You can apply a lot of times. And for the adults on the phone, for Antoine, you can apply for up to $10,000 to support the girls on other levels.
For young ladies, I end every talk with this. It's very easy. It's not hard to say, but I'm going to say it first. I want each and every last one of you to know, if nobody else tell you today, I love you, I appreciate you, and thank you for what you do. And thank you for being yourselves.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Much
Thank
love.
you.
Much love. Y'all
Thank
have
you.
a great day, and thank you so much for tuning in. And until the next time.